What is going on, everyone? Tim from Tier Fawn Orbital. It's me. Did you expect anyone else? I certainly hope not. I mean, this is all I have to offer here. I'm just here to talk about some lightsaber installs. I don't have much else going for me, right? So anyhow, I'm going to make this a very, it's going to be a relatively quick demo video. This is for an install commission that I completed on a Jedi Killer Gen 2 from Phoenix Props. I've set this up with a chassis of my own design. This particular chassis was printed in MJF Nylon. I designed this chassis in Fusion, and then I sent it off to CraftCloud and had it printed in MJF Nylon. I'm really, really happy with the level of detail that I get with this particular chassis in MJF Nylon. I like offering this chassis in MJF. I really, really like the tactile feel of MJF Nylon. And then, of course, it's very, very robust, very, very strong. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with the result that we get from CraftCloud. And again, like I did a lot of Greebly work on this chassis, and I'm happy with the level of detail that we got with MJF, right? So with all of that out of the way, I do want to come up top and talk a little bit about how to use the hilt. And then, of course, we will put a blade in it and do a demo. All right, so let's come up top. Okay, so here it is. This is the Jedi Killer Gen 2 from Phoenix Props. Shadow Foil also designed the crystal chamber in this hilt. And I have mentioned this before in previous videos. I really, really, really love the crystal chamber that was done for this hilt. This is a phenomenally designed crystal chamber. There's a lot of detail in this thing. It's a really, really nice modular crystal chamber as well, right? So this whole sleeve will remove, right? And then there is a set screw that holds this entire crystal chamber in place. So that the whole chamber will slide out. So you can wire up the chamber. You can wire up your PCB that way. The way that I install this is I remove that entire crystal chamber, and then right above this crystal chamber is like a copper housing. I designed a special PCB holder that fits just in the top of that crystal chamber. And then I attach my chassis to the bottom of the crystal chamber. So essentially it's all one piece, the chassis and the crystal chamber. And then I put everything in place. And then that set screw holds the crystal chamber in place. And then I also have a set screw that holds the chassis in place just for some extra, just to secure it a little bit extra, right? But just a really, really nice looking crystal chamber. Great looking hilt as well. So the customer did request some light weathering on this, so I did knock down some of the edges on this with some carbon sandpaper. I didn't get too crazy with battle scarring or scuff marks or anything like that. Just some light weathering just to make it look like it's been used a little bit, right? So let's talk about how to use this guy, okay? So to get at your chassis, this grip actually unthreads in two parts. You can unthread it here, and you can also unthread it in the waist. I unthread the entire thing. Just keep in mind, when you're removing this grip past the speaker, it's very, very tight, right? So these threads are exactly at 28 millimeters. So it's a really, really tight fit to get it past that speaker. So just keep that in mind, right? Another thing to keep in mind when you're putting your battery in, it's a different orientation than what I usually install on, or what I usually create my chassis for. I usually make my chassis spring side down or negative side down towards the speaker. This one is spring side up or negative side up towards the blade, right? So keep that in mind. So there's the chassis, right? MJF Nylon. I did a pass of pewter rub and buff on this one. There is a 2020 Neopixel strip just behind this vent here. 28 millimeter speaker. This is from Smugglers Outpost. And that's it. This is a Proffie V3 build, right? So let's get a battery. Okay, so negative side up towards the blade. Put your battery in that battery tray. Hit your kill switch. So there is that animated Neopixel strip. Lit crystal chamber. All right. So once you get your battery in and you've turned it on, Slide your grip on. Once you get past that speaker, you're good to go. Thread your grip on until it stops, and you're good to go. So in this crystal chamber, I've got 2 Neopixels on the upper and lower section of the crystal chamber itself. They are 5mm micro Neopixels. They are from KR Sabers. I like using those in these builds because I can actually put them all the way up inside of this tubing. So they rest just underneath the crystal. So you get like maximum brightness in that crystal chamber, right? Really, really great looking hilt. Let's come down to the bottom. All right. So there's that crystal chamber. Really, really great looking crystal chamber on this hilt. So to the customer, you did request some fonts. Try to put a different color in each font for a different color in the crystal chamber for each font config, right? So let's put a blade in it. Okay, so this is a 1-inch blade holder. There is a set screw just in between these 2 holes here. I did forget to mention as well, the customer did request some heat staining in the blade plug. So another cool thing about this blade plug, this cap is stainless steel and it unthreads from this acrylic base. So I heat stain that as well. So take your blade plug out, rest your blade. Let me turn my fan off. Okay, so rest your blade on those PCB pins and then tighten your set screw and you should be good to go. So I put a full length blade in here. I'm not going to get too crazy with it. Let's see what else we put on here. So this has also been set up with color wheel, right? So to access color wheel, if you want to change the color of your blade, you hold down aux and tap main. Rotate the blade. When you find a color you like, you tap main again. And you'll lock that color in. One more. It's a good sounding hilt too. And I just love that crystal chamber. This crystal chamber is probably one of the best looking ones I've seen in a long time. Maybe one of the best ones I've ever seen, right? Just a great, great looking, unique crystal chamber, right? So anyhow, that's all I got. To the customer, thank you very much for trusting me with your build. If anyone has any questions about this particular install or the hilt, please do not be a stranger. And with that being said, may the force be with you always. Thanks for watching, everybody.